Hello. Sorry, I forgot to switch the scene to stream is starting. So the stream was not really starting. My face is always bit bugged, but okay. Okay, we're good. We are good. We are good. We are. Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. Hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. We have a picture of the day. People doing stuff on the top of the tavern. Oh, I see. So I was doing a bit of bug fixing, in particular, and a bit of extensions. I was trying to basically understand if I can actually flip the visual equipment, right? Because I think in some cases we would like to flip it, and I need to understand if that is a thing or not. I will have also to save it to the database, so there is a bit more stuff to actually do, but I did just the basic flip, rotation, and see what it does, right? And see what it does. So the problem, I think it depends on this lot, so I don't know if it's really possible in an easy way. Because, I don't know. Let me take, yeah, more sides one character. So basically, yeah, this one is probably the hardest. This one is probably the hardest. I added this, I added this flip, you see, that I can turn on. And if I do it, oh, crash the server. Why confirm doesn't do anything? Ah, because he's thinking it's the same location, right? I should change that. Yeah, but you see that the 180 rotation is not really doing what I want him to do. So it seems that the flip kind of works, but only. So it's So it's not a rotation on the local axis, right? Yeah, that is the problem. So the problem is that the rotation. Let me try again to speak with. Let me try to speak with the AI and see if we can sort this out, right? Because this is not really doing it, right? Because this is rotating. Exactly. To rotate in local space, I should multiply quaternions. About flip, you forgot one, eh? I forgot it, huh? Okay, let's assume that I forgot. Let's assume that. Holy shit. What is this thing? The problem is that at the moment I have it in C++, because so every time I have to convert the original rotation to a quaternion. My original rotation is rotation. Create a quaternion representing an 180 degree rotation around the local axis. How does he assume that this is around the local axis? I don't understand. This seems to be so wrong, right? Because how this is local axis, I don't understand. Because original multiplied by flip is applied in local coordinate system. Because it's a quaternion, and so this operator is applying in local space. I'm a bit surprised, but okay. Maybe it's correct. I don't know. It just sounds weird to me, but fine. I have to do a change though, that this thing is not considering, because at the moment is considering let me recompile. Anyway, we have to recompile. So I'm trying to have a kind of a flip. Flip means that flip is this. Flip is this. So if you have your character, right? There is your character from the back, right? So you put his word like this. No way. Let me do it this way, otherwise I will destroy my own drawing. Okay, so this word is like this, right? There is this word, right? Okay. If you flip it, you want it this way. Okay. Understand flip? And the same if you have a weapon here, right? If you have a weapon here on your side, right? The flip, in this case, will be a bit weird, but you will not use it with a weapon, right? You will use it with a bottle, right? So we have seen that the bottles were upside down, right? So if you have a bottle, right? A bottle will actually, at the moment, not show like that because is hanging upside down, because it's following the same rule of the sword, right? So it's putting it upside down. So if I click on flip, now my bottle will be this way, right? With a cap at the top. Understand? So this is what I'm trying to do. In theory, there could also be other movement, like 90%, 90-degree rotation in a certain axis, right? So I don't know if I want to do all of that. But in theory, maybe useful, right? To rotate stuff 90 degrees. I would think about it. Maybe we can, right? But maybe. Okay. Okay. Let's try like this. Okay, it's not the side of the body. No, because that we already have. We already have left shoulder, left hip, right hip, and back. We already have. So you can already move it, right? But in theory you can have it. You can have two weapons, right? So you can have a weapon. Can I make this thing bigger, no? You can have a weapon like this, right? And a weapon like this. I know it's a bit weird, but you will use it for other stuff, right? Maybe you will not use it for weapons. I mean, you can still use it for weapons. I think it still looks fine, just to be weird. But you may use it for other items, right? Like staff or whatever else. What I'm doing. I think the easiest to test is the back, right? Because there is the normal back. And I want to see the flipped back. This lot is already used. Fuck. Okay, I have to ensure that when you do this, what? I said none. Did I? Yes, with the only difference that it needs to be higher, right? It needs to be higher. But in theory, yes. In theory, yes. But let me see if it works on the left shoulder flip, right? Left shoulder flip. No, it doesn't seem correct though, because he selected. Okay, let me try the hip. I don't think it's correct. Well, actually, I mean, here it looks correct, actually. Maybe it is correct. The only problem is the position, right? But at the moment I'm trying to figure out the rotation, not the position. Is this one that makes me wonder though? That is very strange because it looks like they... No, I think that is not correct. Or yes. Maybe yes. Because the handle... No, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. No, I think it is. It is. Because the handle... Actually, the point of connection, right, is this. Okay, so I think it is. I think the rotation is working. The problem is the translation, right? The translation is wrong. But for the translation, there was another piece. There was another piece. Why is using a rotate vector on the... Huh? I completely don't understand this. Wait a second. For example, if the pivot is the handle, yes, it is the handle, you place the handle at the socket. After flipping the blade at the socket, and then you shift the weapon, yeah, exactly. So, the weapon length, I think I can calculate it, by the way. But I don't understand this. Why is taking the original rotation as a vector? No, okay, like this is extracting the forward vector. I mean, it's a bit of a weird thing, but I understand. So, is taking the original rotation. This is very obscure to me. This is very obscure to me. This is very obscure to me. What the fuck this means? I don't understand this. So, he's taking the original rotation, right? That I have here. Well, I have assigned it here, so I have to do it before I do this, otherwise I destroy it. But and then he's using so I have to do it before that, otherwise it will never work, right? Rotate a vector rotated by his rotator. My forward vector is 1, so it's not rotated. I don't understand. Huh? How can this give the forward vector of the translation? That is weird to me. It does? Yeah, exactly. Why we don't use get forward vector? I don't understand. I don't understand why he's doing this. Now I will have to do it in local coordinates, right? But I don't understand why we are not why we are doing that, and why we are not just doing rotation get forward vector. Because it doesn't exist. Get forward vector. Yeah, I don't understand why we don't use this. Okay, it's saying it is the same. It is the same. He said that he did it like that because it is showing that you are rotating the vector on the forward vector, but I don't know. To me, it just confuses me. It just confuses me. So, fuck. So we get the forward vector. Okay, I understand that. And then, yeah, we calculate the offset. Now, now will be great if the offset could be done with the size of the mesh that we are attaching, right? But I don't know if this can be done actually after or not. I think I have to do it after because this is the static mesh, right? Create visual mesh path component. Hmm. Because I can get the bounds, right? Hello, Velanat. Hey, welcome, welcome. My face is stuck again. No. Okay, should work now. If you want the real final size, you should get the component bound and not the mesh bound. You mean that I should use my component bounds? But my component does not have get bounds. He has a calc bounds. Oh yes, he has a calc bounds. My static mesh component get it is starting to become a bit complex, but it's fine. Get component transform. So Let me just save the original rotation because we need it. The original rotation will be equal to this. So we can set here the rotation anyway, but we don't lose the original one, right? Now, now, Now my problem is to understand, right? Is to understand what is the length of the sword, right? Because what is the length of the sword? Because obviously the sword has 3 dimensions, right? And so if we take the wrong dimension, or we decide that we always take the longest, well, that may not be a bad assumption. That may not be a bad assumption. That may not be a bad assumption, actually. Instead of taking the x axis, I would like to take the longer one. Great idea, I said. I don't know if I really need the... I don't know if I really need the... I don't know if I really need... What? Oh my god. What? Half length, half extent. Where is half extent coming from? Oh. I don't understand exactly what it's doing. Is doing so here we're basically creating a vector which points to the length of our thingy, right? So if we have if we have a box like that, which is in theory our sword, right? So this will be the vector that goes from the middle, right, to one of the corners, right? Well, now it shows weird because it should actually go inside, right? So it's actually transparent somehow. But yeah, so this is the to the corner, right? To the corner, from the middle to the core. So that is what this bounce extent does. And obviously it is off because it's starting from the middle, right? But what I don't understand is if the x of the extent is greater or equal than the y, and the x is greater or equal to the z, then is the okay. So it's basically ensuring that it's fine. So it's not excluding them, it's just ensuring. Okay, fine. So in theory we have enough length, right? Enough length. We have the length, right? And then what he's saying is after this you need to apply a translation. The problem is, okay, the scale, we will think about it. At the moment, the scale, I don't care. But my problem is the offset. Because the offset... Yes, the offset is actually our thingy that we calculated here. Exactly. So here we are getting the longest axis, and here we are calculating the offset where the thing should be multiplied by 2, though, we said, no? Original translation plus offset. Why don't multiply by 2 anymore? Full length. Half length by 2, yes. Full length, I mean, we have to do this. Full length by 2. And then... But it is not correct. Fuck. It is not correct because in my sword, right? In my sword, the pivot is the handle, is the middle of the handle, right? So if I calculate the bounding box, right, that is not really working. That is not really working because I will get a wrong value. I mean, we can still try, but I will get a value that is wrong by that much, right? That is wrong by that much. And if my pivot is here, obviously I will get it wrong by that much. So it is definitely a problem. Flipping this thing is harder than I was thinking. The original translation is translation. So I don't know. I have a bad feeling that this thing with is not going to work in the different cases, but fine. Let's see. But I have a feeling that this translation. Let's try to recompile, but it's a lot of calculations, but it's all mathematical calculations, so it will do like instantly, right? So it's not a big deal. I didn't actually use local access. Why I didn't use local access? Local access. Local access. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to get, because I don't have to get the box extent. I have to get, I don't even know how to do it, right? I need to get the box extent and subtract the handle distance. That I have no idea. I mean, another way I can do it is to just allow the people to enter values, but I think that will make it very, very weird. I think the people will go crazy. I think a normal player will not do it. And I think it will be very hard to do, because you will have to basically do the math yourself, right? So it's true that you see it, so it's a bit easier when you see it, right? Because let's do backflip, which is the easiest. You see, he moved it on the wrong axis. Instead of moving it vertically by the sides of the sword, he moved it horizontally by the sides of the sword, right? So now I have a flying sword in front of me, which is pretty cool, but it's not what is needed. This sword can fight for me, maybe. So basically we applied it to the wrong vector. I don't know why this forward vector is not the local axis, actually. Forward vector. Scaled length. Because we skipped this part. It was for the scale, right? We skipped this part. It was for the scale. And actually what it's doing here is using the local axis to generate the length on the Z, Y, yeah, on the X, Y, or Z. based on the scale. Now the scale, I mean, I can do this as well, but I wanted to keep the scale out of this for a second, but okay. Okay. At the moment the scale is 1, right? So I don't want to go crazy with that. Scale. Y-axis scale is different than scale. Because it's the scale after the... Okay. Oh, you want a vector? Jesus. Why you want a vector, please? Let's make it simple. Please. But you're still not doing it. You're still not applying it to the... Because even if we do this, right? Yes, he's looking if it's the forward vector, right vector. But then he's only applying the same length multiplied by the scale, assuming that the scale is 1, is doing nothing, right? So my scale length is anyway like this. So here is not applying the vector, right? Here is not applying the local axis as the vector, which is what I don't understand. So he's still doing forward vector though. In my wait, it's doing forward vector of local axis. I think I missed this, or anyway, because it's a mix of a previous example and this example. So our forward vector, where the fuck do I have that? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, so that in reality is this. So in reality, yeah, that is this. I don't know, seems to be a bit complex, my friends. Seems to be a bit complex. Because you flip it 180, right? So you rotate it 180 and then you have to bring it back on that axis, you know? So you have, so if this was the original position of the handle, when you rotate it 180 that we are doing, I have to move this right here. So this move is the one that I'm trying to do. It is the move that I'm trying to do, right? And I want to do it along the axis of the longest vector that I used to actually calculate the distance, which by the way, we said it is wrong because the handle is not at the beginning. But at least I would like to see if we can move it along that direction. I mean, it should be easy because it's the direction of the rotation, no? Yeah, that is what I think it will not work. I think it will not work even this time because we are selecting the wrong vector. We are selecting the wrong axis actually. We are selecting the wrong axis. Yeah, the flip is not part of the. Oh fuck. He actually moved it in the right direction. But he moved it by so much. Because at the back is different. He moved it actually in the right direction. Bro, can it be day? Fuck. Why I need to always be during the night in this freaking game? Shit. The night is lasting 4 hours. The day is lasting 16 hours. No, 20 hours. 20 hours, right? On a day of 24 hours. And I always get the 4 hours of night. I don't understand how is that even possible. How is that even possible? There is always night. How? 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 Server options. Holy shit. Time. 3 in the morning. Fuck it. 9 in the morning. Okay, I will save it when we restart, otherwise it will just override. What? It disappeared. Oh shit, it's there. I didn't see it, it's there. It's there. Yeah, but he didn't flip it. No, he flipped it. He flipped it, huh? So basically what he did, is doing it because, okay, so this word was like this, right? This word was like this. And he actually flipped it. And the flip is this. Well, it's a bit more than that. Let's say because it's, yeah, because the handle is here. So there is the flip, right? And so he took this point and he moved it in this direction for the whole length of the weapon, right? So this is what he did. So they should have moved it the opposite direction. So the direction seems to be correct. Is the direction, so the vector is correct, but is this minus that is wrong? Okay. Let me see what happens. I don't know what to do then with this slot is already occupied, right? Because this slot is already occupied. This slot is already occupied. What was the message? I don't know. It basically doesn't allow you to do it because it's saying that the slot is the same, but Yeah, this slot is already used. Choose an empty one. Target slot must be available. Well, it may be the same item, right? So if it's the same item, I think we are fine. There's if is slot empty. Because it may be used by the same, item. Anyway, there is something that we have to fix, and I think it's becoming too complex though. Because the other problem is that even if I move it now in the right direction, which I think it will, the amount is wrong. Because at the moment I'm taking the full extent of the sword, but I only need to move it by the distance between the pivot and the top. So how does he know? Maybe there is a way to get the bounding distance from the pivot. Maybe there is a way. I didn't save. Fuck. So it's night again. I didn't save the database. So now he actually moved it in the right direction. But the problem is that he moved it by a full extent of the sword, right? Which, by the way, we cannot see because this sword is not colliding. But he moved it by the full extent of the sword, which can even be a bit more than what is because in theory what did we want? We want to move only so if I remove this part, right? If I remove this part, the sword will be here. I think it will still look wrong anyway. Let me try the hip, but I think it will still look wrong. Yeah. I think it may work with smaller items, like I think we were testing what the one of the potions, right? Not this thing. Yeah, you see that this is the way it does it, right? This is the way it does it for an item. And my idea was to flip it, right? So that is the other way, right? But I think it was a good idea in theory, but in practice, the fuck did I select? Yeah, you see, for example, for this one, right? For this one that is way smaller, it works. Because the distance between the pivot and the bottom is pretty much zero. Actually, Actually, this one is 0. Actually, this one is a 0. So it's 0 because this thing is standing on the bottom, right? It's standing on the bottom. So actually on this one, the flip works. Yes. 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 So if I do left tip again and I do flip, yeah, you see? You see that this, I mean, it's a bit low. It's slightly low, but it is kind of working. So if the item is actually sitting on the ground like this one, the current flip that we did actually works. And so if I put it at the back, right? If I put it at the back without flip, it looks like this. And if I put it at the back with flip, it looks like that. So it actually works. With an item that is sitting on the ground, it actually works. But with an item that is not sitting on the ground like the sword, and may also have maybe a longer bounding box, because that's the other issue. That's the other problem, that this longsword may be so you see where the handle is? The handle is there where the thing is, right? If I make it collision detection, so this will now collide, and I show, come on. No, actually the length of the box seems to be correct. Well, yeah, seems to be correct. Seems to be exactly correct. So in reality, the length, if I take this length, right, this length is actually correct. This length is correct, but it's still starting from the handle. So my problem. So everything works with one caveat. My weapons do not have the pivot. No, well, let's say that my weapons have the pivot in the middle of the handle. Right? Not at the bottom of the handle. This means the calculation of the bounding box, right? So the half extent is actually wrong. Yeah, so this means that the half length, the calculation of the half length from the bounding box is not, I mean, is wrong. Anyway, it's incredible that the AI can understand what we are saying, right? I think it's pretty incredible. When your pivot point is in the middle of the weapon, flipping the weapon doesn't mean moving by full length. It means moving by twice the distance from the pivot to the end, which is half the full length, but it's a more precise way to solve it. Use the socket to mesh local position. Compute where the tip of the weapon is. Calculate the vector on the tip to the pivot. Rotate and subtract twice the vector of the flip mesh. No, I understand, but yeah, okay, if the pivot is in the center, thank you. I mean, but it's not in the center. If your mesh is not symmetric, yeah, exactly. I should place a socket. No, bro, I cannot place a socket. Get location of the socket in local space. I mean, it is always 0, 0, 0 in local space, but get location. Then subtract the pivot location. It's kind of strange that I cannot calculate the distance between so doesn't the bounding mesh know? Describe the box that is centered around the pivot point. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Why doesn't know? I mean, it must know, fuck. I mean, the pivot is not centered. I don't know why he continues to say that it's centered. The pivot is not centered. I mean, that's a given, right? The pivot is not centered. I don't want to add a socket. I cannot add a socket. I cannot add a socket. I cannot. I cannot add a socket. Tip distance. Huh? The farthest point, I don't understand. Get local bounds, right? Get local bounds. So it gets the origin and it gets the local extent. The origin is the center of the bounding box relative to the mesh pivot. And then if we have the origin, it's done, bro. If we have the origin, it's done. Tip distance. Origin x plus y plus? Huh? Origin x plus box extent x. Are you crazy? No. Bro, if my... Wait a second. Wait a second. So, this is the x and y axis, okay? Okay. My sword sits like this. Okay. My sword sits like this. Right? So my pivot is here in the middle of the handle. So that is my 0. right? That is my 0. So the only thing that I have to get is the extent minus, I think it's minus this thing, no? I don't know. I mean, in local space, I don't know if you can identify where this is in local space. I don't understand the origin plus x, right? Let's say my weapon is 100 centimeters long and the pivot is at 20 centimeters. Let's consider only one dimension, which is fine, okay? To simplify, let's think to one dimension only. Let's say my weapon is 100 centimeters long and the pivot is at 20 centimeters, right? So getting the extent through the getting the extent through the local bounds, right? So the extent will be 100 centimeters, right? 100 centimeters. Will the origin extracted from get local bounds be at 20 or 0? Get local bound will return plus 30. So if it's returning plus 30, then you have to do minus, not plus. Right? Identify whether your weapon tip is on the positive or negative side. Take either origin x plus extent x, positive tip, or origin x minus extent x, negative tip. Or to just get maximum distance from the pivot, I don't understand the plus. I don't understand the plus. I mean, I understand that the extent is half of the length, right? So if this is 100, the extent will be 50, right? It will be 50 because the total is 100. And then, that is why it's plus. That is why it's plus, because then it's adding the pivot. But if the pivot is at 20, right? If the pivot is at 20, here it needs to add 30, not 20. Exactly. So 80. Exactly. No, but origin X, origin X, origin X, we said it is 20. Origin center minus 20 plus 80 divided by 2 equal plus 30. I don't understand how we reached plus 30. I don't understand how it reaches plus 30. How? I don't think that origin will return plus 30. I think local bounds will return plus 20. And I don't even know. I think it will return 0. My feeling is that origin will return 0. But we can print it. We can print it and see what the hell it returns, right? By the way, I still have a flying weapon. Oh no. It works well. It works well with any item that is actually sitting in 0-0. But it's not for example, if I take a shield, right? Let me take a shield 1 second. Let me take yeah, let me take a shield, right? Because a shield is perfectly symmetric. So if I do a back flip, but the shield, there is another problem that I'm rotating it. The shield is another mess. If I want to be able to do it with shields, is harder because shields at the moment are rotated 90 degrees on one of the axes, so it's even more complex. I cannot do it with shields. Yeah, but if I do it with any item, like maybe the rock pick is a decent item, right? If I do it with any item that has the middle pretty much it's not working. It's not working because I think the middle point is here, right? So in this case, I mean, I would expect, right? I would expect this thing to move up. But it's moving up by a lot. Look, it's moving up by so freaking much. So the point was here. And now it's moving this wall distance. So even if I am able to move this down that much, so that basically this will reach this, I think it will still look kind of wrong, right? It will still look kind of wrong. I mean, it would be better, but it would still look kind of wrong. Yeah. Unfortunately. So I don't know if with weapons we can actually do the flip. I think doing the flip with a weapon is very hard. I mean, we can assume 30%, I don't know. Agriculture ruler, so you can bring your sword to to, I don't know how to say in English. Plow, I think you say plow the ground. So with certain items it works. Like for example with the lira, it may work, right? Apart that this thing is rotated 90 degrees, which is another problem. But we can have a flip X, right? We can have a flip Z and a flip X. I think the flip X will be relatively easy to do because we just have to rotate it 90 degrees. So I think that the flip X could be fine. I don't know. I don't know if he's worth it. I don't know if he's worth it. I mean, it's a bit of a pity because there are certain items that where it's really working well, right? You see that this lira is completely fucked in position anyway. I think if I start from items that are already wrong, is not good. So I should use items that are actually correct, because otherwise we add just problems to problems, right? We add just problems to problems. So, but yeah, but you see that if I do this, right? The pick is obviously in the wrong position, right? It's obviously in the wrong position. And I would say that even if I move it up by the sides of this, it will probably not be enough. I don't know exactly why, probably because I positioned these things just too low from the beginning. But no, you see that here, right? Here is not bad. Here is not bad. Like this is not bad. So the core is here, right? So when it's flipped, I would expect the core, the connection to be here, right? When it's flipped. But it's not. So I don't understand this freaking origin. I mean, if the origin is really minus, I don't think that the, but we can try, okay? We can print it out. So basically what he's saying is that the origin, where is it? By the way, here we don't even have the origin, because here is calc bounds. I don't even have the origin here. Okay, let me try to, instead of this, let me try to use, oops, hello? Let me try to use, get local bound, right? Get local bounds. In get local bounds, we return the origin. We return the sorry, because this is... we return the origin and the extent, right? So where the extent is this, right? What did I do? I don't know. I pressed some random keys. So now what he's saying, right? What he's saying is that instead of doing half length, right, and multiply by 2, he's saying you have to do half length plus the origin. Right? And now no, but sorry, but if now I multiply by 2 is a freaking million kilometers away. No? But for sure if I don't multiply by 2, that's less than what I had before. So it's probably going to be wrong. Huh? So in theory, for the bottle that is positioned on the ground, this origin should be 0. That's my understanding. And for the weapon, it will not be 0. So we will see the bottle of milk stay exactly as it was before, but we will see the pickaxe or the sword really move significantly, right? Yeah. Hello, two cats yelling. We are in a tunnel of rotation and translations and whatever. But anyway, the release went relatively well. Okay, so now we see how the extent is working against us, right? For flipped positions. So if I do left tip, flip. Nah, it seems that the origin is 0. It seems that the origin is 0. Because it didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. I lost my sword, by the way. No, but I have another. Ground nuts? No, I want to... Okay, let's do this falcon. I think the origin is 0. The origin is 0. The origin is 0. The origin is 0. He's not doing it. He's not do. The origin is 0, boys. The origin is 0. So the origin doesn't tell me anything. I think the origin doesn't tell me anything. She's strange though. She's very strange. She's very strange. Because then why they have it, right? If it's always 0, why they have the origin then? I don't know. You can print it and see what he does, but okay, let's try printing out the origin. I think there is definitely a way to do it, but I'm not getting the proper function, the proper information. I see. I don't know. It's kind of random. Just this freaking. We have a bug on Mac that I'm chasing, but I cannot catch it. And sometimes people don't understand when I'm asking to do the test 4 or 5 times. People are saying, no, it's working. Okay. That's kind of funny how programming is and people don't understand it. When you have a random bug, you cannot test it 1 time. When you have a random bug, you have to test it multiple times because it will happen randomly, right? You cannot launch the game once and say it works. I think the origin will be 0. Unless I did a mistake. No, I didn't. Because I did this plus, right? And it didn't move an inch. It didn't move an inch. So it seems that the origin is always 0, 0, 0. Doesn't make any sense, but it looks like it is what it is. I wanted to add, you know, this additional thing, but probably it's too hard. I don't know. The origin is actually minus 27 or minus 17. So the origin is definitely no, but I don't understand. I don't understand. I tried to print out the origin and extents of one of my items. This is the result. Is the center of the bounding box relative to your mesh pivot. What the fuck does it mean? What the fuck does it mean? What the fuck does it mean? What does it mean is the center of the bounding box relative to your mesh pivot, the pivot coordinate is 0, 0, 0. The extent, I understand it fully, is no problem. Is the bounding box, is a vector of the bounding box of my item. I understand that. But I don't understand this. The center of the bounding box relative to your mesh pivot, relative to my mesh pivot. What do you mean? What the fuck you mean? You mean this? The center of this? Does it mean the center of this versus the center of this? I don't know. I don't understand what it means. I mean, in theory, we can draw it, right? And see. We can do some. Wait, we can open the item and understand the position. Wait, we have that item, right? Because that item, I mean, it's a very old item, but we have it somewhere, right? So it's under things, tools, mining, and it's the pick. Yeah, it's this guy. It's this guy. Boom, it's this guy. So what I'm trying to understand is this position, right? So if I move this guy sitting in 0, 0, right? If I move it like this, the pivot stays where it is, right? So where is this point now? This point is at 0, 17. So it's 17 centimeters. Okay. It's 17 centimeters. But Blender and Unreal interpret it differently. No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's yes, but no. So, yeah, so this minus 17,336, you say? Minus 17,38, whatever. So it's definitely, okay. It's definitely this. Now, minus 27? Minus 27? What the fuck is minus 27? I mean, minus 27 is impossible. I mean, this thing is sitting exactly in the middle. So if we go on the vertical side, right? And we move it like this, right? Now this is minus 003. So it's actually 3 centimeters to the side. Yeah, which is exactly this. And minus 27, then is this. Minus 27 is this. Oh yes, it is. Minus 27 it is. Huh? Okay, so is the full extent. Okay, so is the. So is. Huh? So is the. Huh? I don't understand. So is the bounding box. Okay. So is what I was saying. So is the bounding box is only the positive bounding box, no? Is only the positive bounding box? No, it's not. It's not the positive bounding box. It's not the I mean, 27 is this length, right? 27 is this length. 17 is this length. And 3 is this length. Okay? So these are the three numbers that we get out of the origin. And by the way, all three are negative. All three are negative. All three are negative. All three are negative? All three are negative. So is it this? Yeah, if it's all negative, right? If it's all negative, so if it's all negative, we are getting this box, right? We are getting this box. Yeah, we are getting this box, yes. I don't understand why in the origin we are getting that box. I don't really get it, but it's like if the calculation moves this like this, and then it moves it like this, and then it moves it like this, and then it's giving you this position, which basically is the box if this thing was on positive. But anyway, we have all the coordinates, right? We have all the coordinates. So yes, we have it. So now what do we do? Now we say, okay, so, and then we get the extent, right? The extent was what? The extent was 46. Okay, so 46 should be the remaining, right? So if I move this guy down, so it is exactly like this. Now my z is 46. Yes, you see, it's 46. So 46 is exactly the length between this and this, right? Is exactly the length between this and this. It's 46. It's 46. So if I want to flip my shit, but wait a second. Wait a second. When I rotate it, it's obviously rotating along the pivot, right? So if I rotate it 180, and this is what I'm doing in the code, right? I'm rotating it 180. We are already we are rotating around the pivot, I assume. Well, for sure. We cannot do anything else. We cannot do anything else. So we are already excluding this. So if I just rotate it and I don't translate it, well, we can test that. We can test that. So if I just rotate it and I don't translate it, so if I, where are you? Here. If I just rotate it and I don't translate it, well, I translate it by, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. No, I should be fine, right? No, because the base translation is not 0, right? So compared to my character, my socket may be here, and maybe I'm already translating it a bit down. So I already have a delta compared to the original. So I have to be careful that I'm not multiplying by 2 the existing delta, but I don't think so, otherwise it will go in a crazy position, right? multiplying by 2 only the, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so let's try just to flip it, and we want to see if it's flipping on the pivot. If it's rotating around the pivot. And I think it must, right? If it doesn't, it's a mess. Why isn't the edit pivot page under the Unreal doc helping? Because, I don't know, because I don't even know what that page is. But the point is not that we are trying to edit the pivot of an item. The point is that we are trying to attach an item to a socket that already has an offset, and we want to move it, like translate it, right? Of a certain amount. So we're not changing the pivot, we are just moving it. We're just moving it. We could also change the pivot, but the result would be the same, right? The result is just a translation along an axis. And the way you do it with sockets is that you apply an offset to the socket. Now, I don't know. Okay, 1 second. So we have our, so can we assume that the connection point is here, right? So if I flip it now, let me remove it because I cannot flip it without removing it. If I remove it and now I flip it, yes, it is moving, it is rotating around the pivot. Okay, that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing. So the only thing that we have to do now is to move the item down of the distance between the pivot and the extent, right? So actually, since our extent was 46, right? Since our extent was 46, we absolutely don't have to add the origin, right? We don't have to. We just have to use the extent, which before was the calculate bound, the component transform, blah, blah, blah. But now we know that this thing is 46, right? This thing is 46. So actually, if I remove, no, what did I do? What did I do? Okay, I press F12 or something. So now if we remove this, right? Now the only question is, should we multiply by 2? No, because is 46, right? I don't have to multiply by 2, right? Because the extent was saying 40. I don't know why the extent says 46. So the extent in this case is not half length. But it's impossible, because we get local bounds, the extent will always be... Huh? Wait a second. Let me just ask something to this. With get local bounds. Just a second, I need to read a message. Okay, it's fine. With get local bound, with get local bounds, right? Do I still have to multiply by 2? Yeah, so no. Ma no, you don't have to do it twice. You don't have to do it twice. Why you do it twice? You don't have to do it twice. No, it's wrong. If you multiply by 2 to shift the mesh to the flip position step, but no, I mean if it... No, I don't think so. I think I don't have to multiply by 2. I think I don't have to multiply by 2. So let's do it without multiplying by 2. I have to move by 46. I have to move by 46. In the forward vector. In the... Yeah, exactly. In the forward vector. I don't know why the AI is saying that I have to multiply by 2. I don't understand. I think it doesn't understand or whatever. Or I don't understand. One of the two. But I'm pretty sure I have to move it by 46 because 46 is the distance. So... Now, a completely different problem is the items that are rotated wrong. But on those ones, I don't know. We will see. We will see what we can do. I mean, the good thing of this is that this is calculated. Well, it's actually calculated every time. Huh? No, it's calculated once. It's calculated once. Yeah, it's calculated once. It's calculated only when you put it on. Because this is not done through replication. This thing is automatically replicated. Luckily. So... Okay, so what we want to see is that when we flip it, pretty much the tip of the pick is here, right? That is what we... Which may not be logically correct in terms of position, but is mathematically correct in terms of position. So if I remove it, and then I add it again with a flip. What the fuck? It didn't do anything? That's impossible. Huh? What? Oh shit. I forgot to remove that. Okay, Hula, is the time. I'm confident. It's time of the drum roll. I think it will appear in the right position. I feel it. Because I did enough mistakes so that it should be good now. It's the moment of the drum roll. I think it will appear where we want it now. I believe. I believe. With the Skyrim music in the background. I believe. We will win. One day we will win. One day. Okay. Okay, Ula, it's the time of the drum roll. Ah. Drum roll. It's not loading, but should. Drum roll. I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online right now. I see. Okay, so that is the non-flipped, right? Because we are not saving the flip to database at the moment, so. What happened? What happened? An anonymous viewer gifted a sub to Ulla. Fantastic. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you. Ulla, you are now subscribed. Fantastic. Okay, right tip, flip. You ready? So maybe a bit low, right? Maybe a bit low, but basically what we did, we rotated this thing and we moved it down of the distance between the pivot and the top. Right, you may say, oh, but in reality, in this case, you want this to be the pivot. Okay, I know, but that is a human decision, right? It's not a mathematical decision. The mathematical decision is correct. Now, if you use a sword, it will look very weird. Obviously, if I take this falcon and I put it on the left hip, right? If I take where the fuck is that falcon? This one. If I take this falcon, right, and I put it on the left hip flip, yes, but it's normal that it looks like this, right? Because you decided to flip. And so you are taking the distance between, you know, so you are anchoring here. Now, maybe on this character we can decide to anchor a bit higher, right? Maybe this anchor is a bit low. But now I want to see what happens if this is correct. And now I want to see what happens if I do backflip. Yeah. Yeah, now is correct. I mean, it is again a bit wrong, right? You would expect it is lower, but the anchor point is here. And we are using the top as the anchor point. Now, we may decide, you know, that we don't do 100%, but we do 80%. Thank you very much. So now, as subscriber, what you can do, you can do a lot. You can do a lot, my friend. Yeah. Do we have icons? Do we have icons for subscribers only? I don't think so. Do we? In theory, I should add them, but that's another work for me, you know. Cannot do everything myself, but thank you a lot, Anonymous. Thank you. Plane shift. I think all our icons are normal. I think anyone can use these icons. Even if not so we should add the subscribers only icons, right? Yeah, we should. Another work for me to do. This guy didn't answer, the one that we discussed yesterday. 2 days ago. Okay, but anyway, it works. So, what does this mean? Well, this means that if I want... Now, the okay, this works. This is very nice. Because I can do... Wait. I can do mace, back, flip. Yeah, I mean they are all a bit higher, right? But they are a bit higher because the back is actually not in the middle; is a bit higher than the middle. And here we are taking the tip, right? We are taking the tip instead of taking. So what we could do, right? What we could do is to say, Oh, if the item has a certain extent, we take like 80% of that, right? So we move it by, or we can even say we move it by that plus the tip. But if I do that, I move it like that plus the tip. Do you want to try? That is a bit risky though for the items like the quarterstaff, items that have the pivot in the middle. Do we have a quarterstaff here or not? No, because we are in the stupid database. 6 months. 6 months because probably you were already subscribed before. You were already subscriber. So basically now you can have your bottle of milk, right? You can have your bottle of milk like this, looking down, or you can have your bottle of milk looking up, right? You see? Which is, by the way, this is the reason why I did this. It's obviously not for the weapons. It is for this, right? So I'm thinking if is always a good idea, whenever you have a delta origin, to take the delta origin and add it negative to the extent movement. We can try, and maybe this can even be a setting, right? I can say plus offset, but in theory, if I go back to what I did before, but I just put a minus instead of a plus, because that's negative, right? Yeah, exactly. So I don't multiply by 2 like this guy is saying, because multiplying by 2 is obviously wrong. But if I add, the problem is that this is always negative, so I always have to do minus, because that's a negative. So negative become positive, right? Now the more the pivot is in the middle, the more it will be a bit weird. So it may not work on certain weapons, like I think the quarterstaff. Let me go the other database so we have more stuff. Yeah, but basically we did it, boys. I'm fairly impressed. There was a moment where I was like losing faith, right? There was a moment in the middle, like 1 hour ago, half an hour ago, that I was really losing faith. A mysterious man already have given me 5 months before. Oh, wow. Fantastic, Ola. So someone loves you, eh? Gives you free stuff. I think it's because every time someone gifted, you were one of the gifted. I can have badges by months, right? But I don't know how to put them in, but I can do that. We can have badges. We can have plane shift badges for how many months you are subscribed. Yes, we can. The problem is there is more work for me to do, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. We have to make the icon and then we have to associate them. Associate them is fairly easy, but making the icons, right? It's not that easy. Yeah, we can try with this guy. It's the same. Okay. Let me go in a place where there is enough light. Okay, so for example, right, if I want to have this mace, right, this mace rotated now, right, if I want to have this mace rotated, and I put it on the left, I put it on the left hip. Where is this mace? I have no idea. It's in one of the containers. GG. GG! Maybe this one? No, there is a hammer. These are all hammers. No! I don't see it. Do you see it here? Maybe it's this. Battle pick. I don't know. Let's try to put the battle pick on the left hip flipped. You see that he's higher and he's way better? I think he's higher. Because if I do it without the additional delta... but I cannot see it without additional delta because... no, but... no, wait. No, it didn't work then. It didn't work. No, let me go always with the same item, otherwise we go crazy. Let's go always with the pick, right? Always with the pick. Where is the pick? I don't have a pick. Fuck. I don't have a rock pick. Come on. Okay, now we have a rock pick, right? So if I put it on my left hip flipped, it seems he's not doing it though. It's very strange. Well, or maybe he's doing it, and it looks kind of good. But it's strange because with the pick, right? With the pick, it should be super evident. Because the pick actually has a very long, right? So if I do left hip, look at how long it is, right? You see that he has all of this in the pivot, all of this. So if I flip it, I would expect right? I would expect this to be way higher, way higher, way higher, and it's not. And that is what is very strange. Origin, -4, -15, -19. So it's 20 centimeters, right? That's strange. I don't understand why. That is strange. I don't understand why. Origin. I did minus origin, yes. I did minus origin, yes. I mean, we can print it out so we see how much it is. But that's kind of strange. Half-length. It's kind of strange. I was expecting more. I mean, it may be for the scale, because at the moment we are not applying the scale, and that character is definitely a big character, which has all the items scaled, but still, it's very strange, because the extent is 80, right? And the origin is about another 20. So you should move it about 20 centimeters up. It's kind of strange it is only 20 though. But anyway, I think it works. Huh? It's not perfect, right? It's not perfect, but I think it's decent, so we can keep it. We can actually keep it. No, Mysterious Man, but with me, you can have more badges than text every time I write. Yeah, I can put more badges. What about the longsword with a dwarf? It will go a bit into the ground, but it's fine. If you take a claymore, right? If you take a claymore, which is a very, very long sword, and you put it on the hip, it will go inside the ground, but it's fine. The Cleros wing, I did the socket differently. So the Cleros are putting the sword vertically. So that should be okay, because I did it differently only for the Cleros that have wings. Huh? Smart, huh? You didn't think about it, huh? I did. Yeah, I loaded production, so it's a bit longer. Okay, let's do it again with a character that is normal size, like this guy, right? This guy is normal size, so he's not scaled, and so in theory is fine, right? So let me remove this word. Okay, so if I do this long sword, right, on the right hip flipped, I'm going in the wrong direction? I'm going in the wrong direction? It's a minus. I did minus. This is a minus, bro. This is a minus, right? So I did it's the opposite. Wait. It's the opposite, because if I rotate it, then I go down. I have to go down less. It was plus, boys. It was plus. Because we have to go down less, not more. Obviously, with a sword, flipping will look super stupid, right? But I really hope that you guys want your character to look nice and not look bad, right? So I guess that you will do it properly, right? You will not have like flying swords around you. And if yes, the game master will tell you, sorry, you cannot do it this way. But I mean, it's fine. As long as it's not really flying around you, I think it's fine. Because imagine having the ability also to rotate on the other axis. You could have a sword that actually goes through your body. And then roleplay for the rest of your life that you have been cursed with a sword inside your body. Very nice. Very, very nice. So I think the only thing that we have to solve are the shields, because if we do this with a shield, it will not work, right? Because for shields we apply an additional rotation and an additional translation, right? So, and that will definitely not work. This will definitely not work. So if you try to flip a shield, it will go crazy. It will put in a wrong place. Do you want to see the Klyros? If I have a Klyros, I'll show you. If we have a Klyros, I show you. And then I have to go, unfortunately, but I have Javi. Sometimes he's here in the chat. So I didn't consider this. I considered the sword. I didn't consider the pickaxe. But if you do it with a sword and you put it on your left shoulder, right? This happens. The only thing I don't know is why so much to the back. I think there is something fucked up here. I think the position here is not correct. The left is not correct. The right is correct, but the left is not correct. Yeah, the right is the way I wanted to do it, right? Like this, vertically like this, along the. But I don't know why. I don't know why this one on the left is not correct. I will fix it. I will fix it. So if I flip right shoulder, yeah, it will be like this. Yeah, with the minus it works way better, guys. So if I do right hip, right? If I do right hip, like this, you see, it works well. Now, if I do right hip rotated, for a sword it will look stupid. I mean, I know already. But anyway, if you want to do it, if you want to do right hip flip, right, it becomes like this. I mean, it's obviously completely stupid, so you should not do it, right? But it may be useful for other stuff. I think for example an X may already look a bit better, right? An X, if I do X rotated, left hip flip, yeah, an X looks better, right? Just because is you think that you tie it there, while here you can really tie it to the blade, right? Yeah, but now it works, guys. Now it works. I think it's very good. Let me check the back 1 second. If I do this one on the back flip. Yeah, again for a sword looks a bit weird. Also it's not very centered for whatever reason, but yeah. I think the swords, using the flip on the swords is obviously not a great idea. By using the flip or on anything else, it is good. Like on axes. Now, if you want to do it on distilled water, what is, yeah, for example, this thing, right? If you want to do it with this thing, if you want to do it with this thing, right tip flip, yeah. Now this one with the flip becomes a bit too high. with the flip becomes a bit too high. Does it? Yeah, it does. Why? No, but wait a second. This thing is broken. Is this thing broken? Where is our milk? Let me get some... I don't know. This seems to me that... Huh? Right hip. Yeah, exactly. So is that distilled water that is flying? Because, wait, if I do this, right, and now I do the flip. I mean, obviously, if the item is positioned wrong, there is no way, right? Yeah, exactly. This distilled water is flying. For whatever reason. Yeah. You see, is that, well, it's not flying, it's halfway. Is halfway, so is this bottle is wrong. I don't know why this bottle is wrong, but it is wrong. This bottle is like in the mid. Well, it's like if you hold it. I see. So if I hold it in my hand, it will be in the middle. If I hold it in my hand, it will be in the middle. If I put it on my hip, it will be a bit high. And if I flip it, considering that I remove that, it will be a bit low. No? But I think overall it's kind of okay. It's not perfect, but I would say is reasonable. I don't understand why though. Because the middle is here, right? Do we have the socket so high on this guy? Maybe we have the socket on this guy super high. Because this is strange, that it is so high. I think we have it very high. It's just the way we did it on this character. So that the weapons were looking okay, right? We did it that way because the weapons were looking nice. They were looking, but I think they will look a bit too high actually. So if I remove this, right? And I put this weapon on the right hip, not flipped, normal. Yeah, I think we did it because it was looking nicer with a weapon. But actually, we have the connection here, right? We have the connection super high on this character. By the way, there is a small fuck up on the wings. You see? There's a slight difference in... Okay, anyway, guys, I think it's okay. I can refine it a bit, but overall, I think the flip is nice. Allows you to connect more stuff than before. So I will... The only thing I have to do, I have to save it to the database. At the moment, it's not saved in the database, right? And... yeah, for example, this, now you can flip it if you want. Alright, now you can flip it, which may not be the best, but yeah, it would be like that. It would be like that. You go around with a bucket, but at least is rotated properly, right? And the same on the back, you can decide to put it upside down or not. I think I like it. I think I will keep it. Yeah, you can decide how the way you want it. If you want it flipped or you don't want it flipped. Okay, guys, I think it's done. Hello, Javi. Why the braces on the Claros are rendered so weird? This is your character, by the way. You see? Javi, I don't know why, because probably I loaded into my account to test something long time ago and it stayed there in my database. The bracers are looking weird. Let me see. Tell me a name of bracers, because if I just do bracers, I think it will not work. Okay, let me do this. Jewelry. Like this one. Like this one. Oops. Yeah, the position is wrong. The socket offset. I don't know. The do we have a brace? I can if we have a bracer offset, I can fix it. If we have a bracer offset, which I don't remember. Well, I mean, I'm sure that we have a helm offset for every race. I'm pretty sure. I can check that quickly and then I go. I think it was the distilled water bug. Okay, yeah, probably. It is also why I have distilled water in the inventory. Yeah, tweaking a bit these positions, you know, is definitely something I can do. It takes time because it has to be done by character, but let me see if the Claros, like for example, I noticed that the Diaboli male had the helm completely off, and I fixed it. It was really off. So the next update will be better. Claros male. I don't know if we have a bracer position. Bracer. Yes, we have a bracer location. Yes, we have it. So now I don't remember at all how this is done. Location 8 and 1, right? I don't remember. So there is a scale. There is a scale and there is a position. Now, I don't know if I can simulate it though. Claros male torso. If I can simulate it, it's 10 times easier. Claros male. Okay. So we should have a bracer socket. Yes. And if I attach a bracer, no. Why? I don't find the other bracer. Why I find only this? They are not called bracers? What the fuck? How they are called? Huh? They are not called bracers? Things. Jewelry. Yeah, they are called bracers. They're called brack. Brack greater, brack lesser, brack normal. Okay, GG. If I add a brack... If I add a brack normal... If I add a brack normal... And then I scale it. I think I have to scale it 0.9 because for whatever reason I scaled it 0.9. Which I don't know if it's a great idea. On the Y I scaled it 0.8. So even more. I don't know why. But fine. On the Y, so here. Yeah, so I made it shorter. I think it's a bad idea because the Klyros has a very long arm, so I don't know why I decided to shorten it, but it probably is a copy from another character. And then what I said that it should be moved, compared to this location, it should be moved on the Y8 and on the Z1. On the Y8, so 13, minus 13, minus 8. Plus 8, minus 8, plus 8, 5, minus 5. This seems to be very wrong. And on the Z, I said 1. On the Z, I said 1. Yeah. Is it the way it looks in game? Because this seems to be the way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is fucked. It should be, it should not be like this. It should be the opposite probably. So it should be down instead of up and left instead of, so you should go this direction. So the X is not even calculated, but in reality the X should be probably minus 1.7. Minus 2. Minus 2. Minus 2. Wait, we are fixing it. Minus 2. I don't know if it's plus or minus. I did my. So we said the X. I don't know if it's plus or minus. That's the problem. Because I don't know. But let's say plus. Well, this was minus. So no, let's say minus. Let's say minus. Minus 2. Are we doing the left or are we doing the right? We are doing the left. I think I may do it exactly the opposite of what it should be. But we will see it very soon. And then on the Z, right, on the Z, we should do... this is the Y actually. On the Y, we should probably do minus 5. You know what? I think it's the opposite. I think it's 2 and minus 5. And on the Z, I think probably nothing. Well, we can push it down a bit. On the Z, I think it could be minus 1. At the moment it's 1. Minus 1. Okay, do you want to try quickly? Then I have to go. But yeah, but we can. Yes, is because we are reusing, right? We are reusing the same bracers on multiple characters, and so the only way I can do it is to do it like this. So basically I'm repositioning on the fly the items for each race. So each race has his own setting, right? Each race has his own setting, and it's the same for the helm and for the bracers, and now is for the visual position. So all the visual positions are tweakable, right? We can change them slightly to match in terms of rotation and position. And yeah, so yeah, it takes a bit, but we can fix them all in theory. It's good that you mentioned it. I don't know about the lady. Do you know any? Too late from a drum roll. Yeah. Do you know any Klyros female? There are very few, I guess, but I can create one and see. Well, it may have the same issue. It's already a bit better, but I think we fucked up on one of the directions. I think it's already way better anyway. But we fucked up, yeah, we fucked up on one of the directions. So I think we fucked up on one of the directions. So this -5. No, the Y is okay. We fucked up on the X. The X seems to be exactly the opposite. So let's say -2. Okay, last test. Last. And it should be specular between left and right. So I hope that the delta is applied already mirrored, right? So if it's minus on one side, it's plus on the other side. I think is already doing it. So in theory, both bracers should be positioned right, unless I did another kind of mistake. I think also on the stone hammer they look a bit weird because actually the stone hammer has a super short lower arm, and so I had to compress it like crazy, and compressing it is just making it look weird. But yeah. But anyway, you can open bugs, you know, on the bug tracker, or you can just tell me it's the same. Yeah, they look slightly... Why? Ay, left and right. I think we have a problem of left and right delta not being applied as expected. I think they are applied because now the right side is better. It's still a bit fucked up though. I mean, this direction is now this direction is correct, so we fix the Y and we fix the vertical, right? But there is still, it's still like inside the arm, right? But what I see is that you see on this side is not applied properly. So it seems to me that I'm not doing left and right mirrored, which is very strange, but I think is what it is. So I think this bracer X location is not... So this may be a problem on everyone, not just on the Klyros. It seems that the adjustments are not mirrored. Bracer X location, set relative location. Create also the second bracers on the left arm. No, actually it looks like I'm doing 1 minus. But I'm doing 1 minus here as well. Yeah, it is fucked. It is. Because I'm doing this minus. So on the left, okay, so let me see how it looks now. So the left arm is wrong, right? The left arm is wrong. Now, if I do this, in theory, only on the left, huh? If I do this, wait a second, because I don't want to do, no, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I think that it was a mistake. There was a mistake because I didn't apply the change mirror to the other, I didn't apply the change mirror to the other arm, and so now this is assuming that the character is perfectly symmetrical, which unfortunately is not. You know, certain characters, and it is a real problem, because certain characters unfortunately are not symmetrical, and I don't really have an explanation of why it happened, right, when we did the mistake, but at a certain point in time we fucked up, and the arm, well, maybe the left arm is slightly lower or higher, and it is a real problem because it means that, well, in theory compared to the bone, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. It has to be the same distance between the bone and the arm, right? The bone that is inside, because we are calculating the socket based on the bone position. So I think I need to check it back race by race. But the Z, except the Z. Except the Z. If that is the Z, I have no idea if that is the Z. Actually, it didn't look to be the Z. It looked to be the Y. I don't know why. Why? But this looked to be the Y, the local Y. So it looks like what I have to do, the Z I leave it like this, but the Y I do it like this. Because it still has to go down, right? We don't need the down to go up just because it's on the other side. I assume. That's kind of an assumption, my boys. Too late. Yeah, it's also too late for me. I have to go to bed, but this problem made me think about it, and I think this could be a good fix for a lot of other characters and a lot of other future bracers actually. But I think we have to retest it on some characters, because otherwise we may do damage. Item transform. Set relative transform. I don't know if this. What is this item transform, by the way? I don't know. Because this is already setting, right? This is already setting a transform. I think this is probably the socket position. No, but it should be relative, no? I don't know. I have no idea what that is. Okay, now they are, yeah, now they look way better. Now they look way better. Yeah, they look way better now. I think we still have a bit of a fuck up vertically that we need to fix, but at least it's the same. Well, you see, it's not exactly the same, but I think like this is a step. Yeah, but you see that here. Why? Hey, this may be the non-symmetry that I was speaking about. This may be the non-symmetry, because on the left is actually pretty good. On the right, it is a bit fucked, right? But it's way better than before, that's for sure. I mean, if you look at the character from distance, it looks nearly okay. Then obviously if you zoom in like this, it is not very okay. But yeah, so okay, so this is fixed partially, right? So this will go in the next release already. I don't know why I made him. I don't know if it's a rotation problem, but could be. I mean, it would be nice to see on other characters if this makes it better or worse. Yeah, anyway, they look way better, right? So they are still a bit fucked up, but they look, at least you can see them, right? Before they were completely inside the arm. And this fix is so the symmetry fix is for every character, while the position we did it only on the Klyros male. So we will have to see if the other characters also have issues. But the non-symmetry is a real problem. It's a real problem. I don't know if I have bracers with this guy. Yes, I do. I don't understand why. It is the same, by the way, yeah? It is the same, which is a good news, because it seems that it is possible that since the code was wrong, right? This code was wrong, because it was actually not doing the change symmetrically. I mean, mirrored, right? Since this code was wrong, I decided to move this socket more to the left, because the problem is identical on this character than on your character. No, actually no, because it was the other arm. The right arm was wrong for you and the left was correct, while here is the opposite. No! Okay, I have to think about it. Oh, it is possible that now we fixed... I think because they are not symmetrical. I think it's because they are not symmetrical. Anyway, I have to go. Bye! See you guys next time. Bye-bye. I have to run. I have to run.